At the beginning of the special military operation, 80% of injuries, as it were, came from artillery fire damage.
Russian troops wiped out their own men. After failing an initial assault, they attempted another attack, deploying infantry near the same positions. However, instead of advancing, their own BMP opened fire on them, eliminating their own forces on the spot. On March 27, 2025, the Ukrainian armed forces successfully repelled two separate assaults by the Russian military near the village of Novoandreevka in the Donetsk region. The battle, involving elements of Ukraine's 72nd Infantry Brigade and the BBPS Bulava unit, demonstrated both tactical resilience and the effectiveness of modern drone warfare in frontline engagements. The first assault began when 3 Russian BMP infantry fighting vehicles advanced toward Ukrainian defensive positions. Their objective was to land troops at a designated drop zone, allowing an infantry push against the defenders. However, Ukrainian forces quickly identified the threat and engaged the vehicles before they could reach their intended position. Under heavy fire, the Russian forces were forced to abandon their original plan. The destruction of some of the enemy's equipment led to a chaotic retreat, during which 1 BMP was left behind and subsequently lost. Rather than advancing, the Russian troops disembarked at their own starting position, failing to make any territorial gains. Shortly after, the Russian military launched a second attack at the same location. This time, infantry forces were deployed successfully, but the morale and coordination of the assault troops appeared compromised. Instead of pushing forward, they hesitated, prompting one of their supporting BMP-2 vehicles to open fire in an attempt to provide covering support and compel movement. However, the effectiveness of this maneuver was short-lived. Ukrainian FPV drones, already deployed and observing the battlefield, quickly targeted the BMP-2. With precision strikes, the drone operators neutralized the vehicle, further degrading the enemy's ability to sustain their offensive. This engagement highlights the critical role of advanced drone technology in modern warfare. Ukrainian forces have effectively integrated unmanned aerial systems to counter mechanized assaults, providing rapid response capabilities that neutralize enemy assets with minimal risk to personnel. The destruction of the BMP-2 also underscores the challenges faced by Russian forces in maintaining the cohesion and effectiveness of their infantry units, particularly when confronted with well-coordinated Ukrainian defenses. Russian Z-blogger Ivan Otrakovsky is whining, "Drones now cause 70% of enemy wounds per Russian medics. Without air support and effective electronic warfare, our guys die." The Kremlin claims all's fine, but the front says otherwise.
Russian military medics published an article claiming that 75% of injuries in the coalition war are due to drone strikes, 20% on artillery shelling, and only 5% on small arms. At the beginning of the special military operation, 80% of injuries, as it were, came from artillery fire damage. I am a living witness to this. Haven't experienced it myself, but the course of combat actions is changing. The technological progress of killing people does not stand still. Accordingly now, unmanned aerial vehicles have taken the leading position in destroying living forces and equipment. Unfortunately, we not only lack parity in the air, but we are extremely behind in the battle for the sky. That means our guys are dying without global air support, and accordingly without competent, effective electronic warfare. Those in power promise or say that everything is there. We ahead of the rest of the world in advanced technologies. Either it will be like this soon, but unfortunately it's not the case.
Ukrainian drones armed with shotguns are taking down Russian Mavic quadcopters. Footage shows 27 enemy drones being destroyed. Ukraine has been at the forefront of drone warfare innovation, And one of the most unique developments is the integration of shotguns onto drones. These modified drones are designed for close-quarters combat, particularly in trench warfare and urban engagements. By mounting semi-automatic or pump-action shotguns on commercial or military-grade UAVs, Ukrainian forces can engage enemy infantry, clear dug-in positions, and even take down opposing drones. The effectiveness of these shotgun-equipped drones comes from their ability to operate in environments where traditional FPV strike drones may not be ideal. Instead of using explosive payloads, these drones rely on kinetic force and precision shooting, making them highly effective against infantry and unarmored targets. Just a few hours ago, President Trump called me to say he's furious at Putin and threatened to impose additional tariffs on Russian oil, an NBC journalist reports.
Just hours ago, President Trump called me to tell me he is, quote, pissed off with Russia's President Putin and threatened to impose secondary tariffs on Russia's oil. Quote, if Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I am going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming out of Russia. Mr. Trump said 25% tariffs on Russian oil could happen any moment and told me he plans to speak with President Putin this week. The president told me, quote, I was very angry, pissed off when Putin started getting into Zelensky's credibility and started talking about new leadership in Ukraine.
Zelensky is actively preparing to run for a second term, The Economist reports, citing Ukrainian government sources. Last week, he instructed his team to organize elections once a full ceasefire is in place. The first confirmation could come by May 5th, ahead of the vote on extending martial law. The moment a Shahed drone hit Kharkiv yesterday evening, it is known that 2 people were killed and 35 got injured, including 5 children. 6 strikes hit the city, damaging residential buildings, an office, and a medical facility. 1 teenager is in critical condition. Despite ongoing claims of a ceasefire, Russian forces continue to violate it daily by launching attacks on Ukrainian cities. Missile and drone strikes target civilian infrastructure, residential buildings, and energy facilities, causing casualties and widespread destruction. Cities like Kharkiv, Odessa, and Dnipro frequently endure nighttime bombardments, with air defenses struggling to intercept the relentless assaults. These violations undermine any notion of peace efforts, demonstrating that Russia's strategy remains one of terror and intimidation, disregarding international agreements and civilian safety.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.